What's going on, guys? My name's David Tomic and welcome back to the channel. Today we're doing something very different and very exciting. Today we're learning about the future of BIM whilst interviewing some of the specialists in the BIM industry. So without further ado, let's start the introductions and start this video. So first of all, thank you for taking the time to speak to me today. I know we've kind of been arranging this for a little while now and we've finally managed to put it all together. For those people that are watching this video on YouTube and everywhere else, would you just like to introduce yourselves, what your role is and who you are really?
Okay, I can start. Hello everyone, I'm Fleur. I'm a BIM product specialist at BricsCAD. So as a day job, I demo the product, I help solve requests from customers, and that's basically what I do in BricsCAD.
I'm Melissa. We together in the same team, Fleur and I, we help our clients with questions, we demo to prospect.
Okay, well I try to organize this meeting today to talk about the future of BIM as much as possible, and I try to make it as interactive with my audience at least. So a couple weeks ago on YouTube I posted a series of polls for them to answer and to understand the best of the system that they're using and how they see the future of BIM. So the first question I posted to everybody was just a generic question trying to understand what type of software they're using. The results came in relatively non-surprising. We had 25% of users still using 2D software, so just straight 2D lines, 56% of them using 3D software, and only 19% actually calling themselves BIM pros. So I guess my first question to you guys is, why would anybody want to switch from just standard 2D and 3D programs all the way to a full-blown BIM system?
All right, I can answer this question. So first of all, I think a lot of these people who might not want to switch in the first place to BIM might think it is because it's just a hype, it's gonna pass over anyway. And basically I want to tell them that at least I believe strongly that it's just not only a hype, it's more than that. For me, it's really something which prepares us for the future. It helps us, for example, do analysis of buildings. We can model something in 3D, we can add all the data that's needed, we can do some analyzations on that. And that before we enter the work stage, so it makes the work place, the construction site, a safer place in my opinion, because we are more prepared when we go to the construction site. So that's why I think that the error rate that you have in BIM is way less than you would have when you're trying to mix 2D drawings together and make sure that all the views are aligned and so on. So basically I think people now drawing in 2D or 3D, of course they have a valid working method, and at BricsCAD we also try to help them to go from this 2D or 3D workflow to BIM by not making the step too high of changing to BIM. So your workflow, you can still keep it the same, you can still start in 2D, draw it up and take it to 3D, and then convert it in a BIM model as you go along. So in my opinion, why is this very useful to do that is because you really want to make your models future-proof, and when you have a client coming up to you asking, hey, can you do a BIM project for me, and you have to say, oh, I'm still working in 2D, I guess that's not really how you want to be approached. And when you can say, yes, we are working on BIM as well, you can step on to the train and you can make your models future-proof. So that's the main message which I want to give to people, and it can happen in a not so difficult way, where you are using your current workflows, just integrating some data along the way, which makes them more useful later on your models.
In the BIM industry is obviously evolving very quickly and it's rapidly changing, especially with technology changing so quickly. What do you think the biggest trend is in the BIM industry for both 2D and 3D industries?
Yeah, that's an interesting question. I mean, I will take this one as well, if it's okay. But Melissa will talk for sure when we're further in this interview. That's interesting because we see a lot of trends in the construction industry. Often is said that the construction industry is one of the slowest ones to adapt to technological trends. But I do see some promising stories. One of my favorites is the digital twins. So what is it? For the watchers who might not be fully acquainted with the term digital twin, that's you basically model your building in a twin, an identical twin format on your computer. So you have your virtual environment where again you can do all these kinds of analyzations and so on. And we keep that in sync throughout the life cycle of a building. And that seems promising to me. Why? Because you can actually see the cost over a lifetime of a building rather than just having it right away, just delivering it and not take your hands or take your hands off, because if you maintain this digital twin over time, there are also techniques to monitor, for example, shifts in high-rise buildings to monitor are they not going to fall over, let's say. So that's a interesting development I see in the AEC industry. And I think digital twins combined with virtual reality must be something which shapes the future.
Yeah, I know there's been a lot of talk in social media and influencers about digital twins, especially now, because people are starting to take these digital twins and turn them into a business or a marketing strategy in itself. So it's no longer just you have your architect who does your documentation, they hand over the project and you have as constructed drawings. Now you actually get somebody on board to monitor that building and forever hold a digital twin. So it's definitely a big leap forward, I think, in that section of the industry for sure. The next question I asked to everybody on YouTube was, what is the most important for you? So obviously every architectural software has a variety of different tools and different specialities, and what surprised me actually out of everything was the fact that 55% of the votes said 3D visualization was the most important element to them, whilst 26% said drafting tools and only 20% said the objects and libraries. It's interesting because drafting tools helps you actually build the building, make the money, get more clients, whereas the objects and libraries make the visualization better. So that one threw me off a little bit, but that's okay. As you're in the visualization specialist team, is it obvious users are looking for better visualization tools and plugins? And how do you see BricsCAD competing in this field with years to come?
I think one of the things about visualization is something graphical. It always gives the nice touch for marketing and for clients. Often clients don't have that feeling with a 3D drawing, so having a visualization helps them to see where the project is going and to avoid those misunderstandings between the architect and the client. So where do we see BricsCAD competing on this? We listen to the demand from our users, and we try to create the best pipeline between the different platforms. Our biggest priority is geometry first, so we want to make sure that that is taken care, and we know that there's already other solutions out there that do a really good job, and such as our latest integrations with Lumion and Twinmotion, and we also have already for a few last year was Enscape. So I think for now, I think our users will be pretty happy with what we have to offer, and we will see in the future what comes next, and we continue listening to the users.
Personally, I've shifted towards the Twinmotion plugin for me because it's easier than any inbuilt rendering engine, and slowly the focus is moving towards Unreal Engine, because Unreal Engine does have quite a lot of realistic ray tracing capabilities. Even though it takes a lot longer to be able to actually get to your finished product, it can produce a lot better quality. So I guess my next question to you guys is, ray tracing is actually becoming the key demand in the field, and how do you see BricsCAD utilizing this technology in the future?
Just to go back a little bit on the collective, since we're not really engine, we can render a little bit, so you can see a few things here and there, but the purpose behind is not to really be a 3D rendering software. It goes back to making these pipelines for the other softwares, such as, like you say yourself, so Twinmotion, they already have a beta version to go from Twinmotion to Unreal, so you can take it to the next level. If I know we already had a few users saying, yeah, but it's not photorealistic enough. Say, yeah, but don't worry, you can take it to the next level if you want to. And it's not even if you take it to, for example, to Unreal, it's not only to make it even to realistic, but then you can create a whole environment for the users to interact with, and not even for to make it photorealistic, but also even if it's just pure solids, they can create a virtual world where different stakeholders can come in together and talk about the project without having to fly to the location itself. So tracing is indeed a high demand now. A lot of people, it goes a lot faster, the rendering, you get better results, but even before we had the exporting, we supported already for a while the FBX and the Collida, so they could even take it to Blender, where they already also support the ray tracing. So there's lots of options for our users to benefit from that technology.
The whole reason we use visualization tools is to actually better design and provide better services to our clients, which you touched on briefly. I guess it'd be interesting to find out what your opinion is on and how we can enhance the client's experience. So for example, because Twinmotion and Unreal are very quick and very simple to do, you can very easily start rendering very early on. You don't have to finish the design completely and then give them the final product moments before it's about to go to construction and then they want to change everything. So in your opinion, do you think the future of ray tracing is helping us design and create 3D visualizations earlier on so clients can have a better experience at the end of the day?
Ray tracing, I wouldn't look it up. I mean, I wouldn't think of a way to help your visualization. It's just a technology that is to work more efficient. Like I said, before, if you run back then, I would say maybe 3 years ago, if you wanted to render something, you had to wait quite a long time, and also the denoising, all this stuff is to work more efficient and have a result a lot faster, and also minimizing the budget that you put in, because often lots of architects didn't want to really invest on this photorealistic because it was too time consuming and it cost too much, and they figure out that the clients, as long as they have some materials and something that simulate what the end result would be, they were happy enough. But now we can give them something better. Now we can and such a fast like with Twinmotion, all you have to really is just press a button and you have already a virtual environment. So okay, in that sense, then it facilitates a little bit more to analyze a few things, such as the shading, where the sun is. Are you happy with how the sun comes in certain areas? But the ray tracing, I see more of an efficiency.
Now, I guess this is a bit of a off-topic question, and sorry about this, but do you guys at BricsCAD actually have the opportunity to talk to people at Unreal Engine and Twinmotion and Lumen, to have your opinion presented to them and have your voices heard, to be able to actually create what you want to create in their software?
Yeah, I didn't follow closely the Lumion, but I did follow closely the Twinmotion, and yes, we had a direct connection. They were very, very helpful. And every now and then, whenever we spotted a bug or things were a bit different, or we wanted to behave a bit differently, they were easy access. They were willing to work with us, cannot complain. I was actually very pleased and surprised of how fast the collaboration was, because I think within 3 or 4 months everything was ready to go.
Okay, I guess we'll step away from visualization now and move towards parametric design. Parametric design is something I've been fascinated about since I was at uni, and it's something that can create incredible things. It is time consuming but rewarding at the same time. Parametric design is something we truly use in big firms. It's not something we use in little firms, and I've worked in both. I've now work in a smaller firm. It's probably more of a medium firm, and we're trying to push into the parametric design, but it's hard to convince people that it's of value. Similar to how visualization was previously, it wasn't of value because it took too long and clients were happy with a little material here and there. How do you see parametric design in the future, stepping away from just these large firms to be able to actually be integrated into a smaller firm and to help speed up the documentation process, I guess?
Yeah, that's an interesting question. And as I'm a very parametric enthusiast, like parametric design enthusiast and generative design enthusiast, I will take this question. So also, same like you, I have been interested in this since my university studies. I have been introduced there to parametric design, and I guess that's for a lot of people the first touch they have with parametric design. But in BricsCAD I could elaborate that passion a little bit further, so that I was actually still working as a student here in BricsCAD, and I was given the tasks of designing the conference building actually, or the conference model train station. If you look it up, it's from a few years back or 2 years back. And I was designed to design this. And actually, what I found out since then is that parametric design has a lot of applications. So not only can you do these fancy rail station canopies and all of those things, but you can also use it for some smaller scale models or some smaller scale use cases. I particularly find it useful to use parametric design whenever you want to make a unique situation. You want to make it needs to adapt to a unique situation, your design, and I guess that's in a lot of small firm cases exactly the fact that you will have your clients with all their unique needs and all their unique situations. And actually, whenever you would use a parametric design in smaller scale projects, you could, in my opinion, have this parametric design adapt to these unique situations, yet you reuse certain parts, namely the scripting that's behind it. You just reuse it, but by tweaking the input parameters, you can get unique situations, unique solutions actually to the problem at hand. So I guess that whenever you mix parametric and generative design together with a good validation step of the architects, you have these unique situations that are actually fairly easy to make. At first, you might seem that you need to invest a little bit of more time to design something by scripting it, but in the end, you will be able to reuse it. You will be able to adjust it slightly. And one of the most use cases would be, for example, stair designs. You can adapt the stair. You can make it fully fit the situation at hand, yet it doesn't have to cost as much when you manufacture it, because also in the generative design process, you can immediately put in that step where you validate whether you can make it with these standardized parts. So you just use some standardized part to create a very unique situation. That's all possible with generative design as well. And I think that is mainly where smaller firms can benefit. Also, another example would be wood framing in houses. Whenever your window just changes slightly, your wood framing structure needs to adapt, and that's also possible by scripting your wood framing, that it just adapts, or your wall cladding if you want a nice cladding design for one of your interior walls. Like there are a lot of use cases, and I think on the Bricks' website there will be soon a special page for this, so you will be able to check out some of the ideas. But as well, we are collaborating with McNeil here to integrate Grasshopper in BricsCAD, and that's also a wealth of information is on the McNeil community's sites, so you will find these mind-boggling scripts and that I always like to watch at just as well, and I guess that's a good step for people to get interested in it, just watching the nice results.
I think staying on the smaller jobs, smaller firms topic, recently I've had a few jobs hit my desk at least that have been asked to be produced under BIM. But all the consultants on the team have been a little bit older and a little bit more set in their ways. So they've refused to step up and use the BIM software, and they just want to continue with their 2D drawings and their 2D lines. Some of them are still drawing by hand. So it's incredible to see these guys still going, and they are a wealth of knowledge. So you get so much information out of them, but at the same time, you're unable to actually produce what the client wants. So how do you see that older generation, I guess, of architects and engineers stepping away from 2D and embracing BIM?
For me at least, maybe Melissa can add to what I say here, but for me at least it's about showing them the value of BIM again, and also the potential ease with which they can start with it. We would say, or at least I would say, start simple. Don't try to start with your with a large client saying, okay, can we do this entire site or in BIM? Maybe that will be too much of a step. So I would start simple and just let you guide also by maybe the younger generation that is educated in it even. Maybe the older generation is just not educated in it, but you can learn a lot from each other, I think. Like BIM has its flaws still as well. So for example, when it comes to detailing, pen and paper or maybe still the first tools that you should grab. So I think whenever there is a nice collaboration between these generations, they can actually produce something which is very valuable, where you can have these talks about how can we transform what is that idea on paper to something which is already starting in BIM. And I think in BricsCAD BIM, we are, like Melissa already said, we are trying to pick up on that note with saying, okay, you can just start modeling. You can start modeling free form almost. You can push-pull, you can extrude stuff, and then you can add the BIM data later. Like, you don't have to worry about getting everything right from the first moment that you start your design. You can let it just flow according to this workflow that you feel comfortable with. And I think that's for me a big step to convincing everyone actually to start with BIM, is making them see the value first, educating them secondly, and then thirdly just starting small and starting with some simple projects, trying it out, seeing what values it can give them, and so on. So I don't know if Melissa had something to add.
No, I think it's just a little bit reinforcement of what Fleur just said. I mean, obviously it's an old generation, so they know already about BIM for a long time. But when it started, it was Revit, the one mainly providing this solution. And yeah, Revit is known for not being so easy. Takes a lot of learning, takes a lot of budget, especially if you have if you want to start the complete firm to do it. It's really a lot of cost that they have to do to have everybody on board. So maybe just to have them see that there's no longer Revit taking part on this BIM, and that BIM is not Revit. BIM is completely separate from Revit. Revit just provide you the solution for the model itself. And maybe with our solution, the fact that it follows a little bit of a logical workflow, you know, if they can do 2D, they can then do 3D, and then they can just classify things however they want. So, I mean, I feel it's a bit, I mean, maybe it might be seen as bias, but it makes a bit of a sense. You know, almost everybody starts with 2D at school, and then you do some 3D. And yeah, BIM, actually, if you look at our perspective, is just classifying the solids, and then you can extract the data however you want it.
I think that's a good point, understanding that Revit used to be everything. It used to be the only thing people use in firms. It was the best for BIM, it was the best for everything. And it's just interesting how the world's progressed and how more and more software has come out that now you don't have to use Revit. You have so many options that everybody has an opinion of what the best one is, and everybody always will, and that's okay. But I think that's probably one of the main sticking points, is when you do speak to the older generation, they're just thinking Revit in the back of their head, and it's so complex and so difficult to use and so difficult to learn. So I think that's an excellent point. But anyway, that is all the questions I had for you guys today. So you can relax and be stress-free. You don't have to be on camera anymore. Thank you so much for taking the time. I do appreciate it.
Okay, cool.
Thank you.
Thank you for the interview.
Anyway, that's all from me today, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you enjoyed the interview with Melissa and Fleur, and I hope you got some great, valuable information out of it. If you did, make sure you smash that subscribe button down below, because as always, I'll see you next Monday.